Picture this. You are strolling through your neighborhood and you come face to face with this huge hill. This is what happens to me every day when I go out for my walk. There's this big hill at the end of my walk that stands between me and the comfort of my home. And this is like our homeschooling journey, right? You've been cruising along, it's been smooth sailing for so long, and all of a sudden you are faced with high school, and it seems just a little bit daunting. But fear not, my fellow homeschool mom, for today I have 3 surefire tips for you that are going to help guarantee you and your teen get successfully to the end of your homeschooling journey. Hi everyone, I'm Pam Barnhill, and I have helped thousands of homeschoolers create doable systems, beat burnout, and bring more joy to their homeschool day. So yes, today I have 3 tips for you, 3 things that are really going to help you make sure that you successfully get to the end of homeschooling high school, because after all, that's what we want. We want to be able to finish the job that we started, most of us, so long ago, and we worry, how are we going to get there? These 3 tips are the things that are going to help you, and do not forget to stick around for the 3rd one, because it is absolutely the most important of all 3 of them. So the very first tip I have for you, the first necessity really to make sure that you and your teen finish this homeschooling journey strong, is to adapt and personalize. So all these years you have probably been doing this, and honestly high school is not the time to stop that. And I see so many moms get really caught up in all of this fear as they approach the high school years, and they're like, how can I continue to adapt things for my child when we have to make this transcript? And it is absolutely vital that you continue doing the adapting and the personalization that you've been doing. Just because your child is now in high school, if they're still moving a little bit more slowly and not mastering the material, then you've still got to adapt for them. You've still got to make sure that they work to mastery and understand what they need to understand before they move on to the next step. So moms worry, like, if my child is behind in math, how in the world can I put all the math credits that I need on the transcript and them still be able to graduate? And you can. It just takes a little bit of creativity and knowledge, honestly, of what they're doing in public school systems and what they're putting on those transcripts. So let me give you an example. When my daughter entered high school, she was quote unquote behind in math. And what I ended up realizing after talking to a friend of mine, hi George, who is a AP physics and math teacher in the state of Florida, he told me that in Florida they actually put Algebra 1A and Algebra 1B on the transcript for the kids, where it takes them 2 years to master the concepts of algebra. And my mind was just blown. I thought this was absolutely brilliant, because it wasn't going to take her 2 full years to master algebra, but it was going to take her more than a year. It was going to take her about a year and a half. I was able to label 1 credit as Algebra 1A and another credit as Algebra 1B. And this is something that they're doing in public schools all across the country. Now, I would definitely recommend that you check with any of the laws or statutes of your state, but 9 times out of 10, you can do whatever you want when it comes to homeschooling. And colleges will be used to seeing this Algebra 1A and Algebra 1B on the transcript. Adapt and personalize to meet the needs of your child. This does not stop just because all of a sudden you've got to fill out this transcript. After the adapt and personalize tip, the next tip I have for you is to seek out mentors. I know that this lack of confidence that we all have about homeschooling high school, and trust me, I had it too, and sometimes it still rears its head and I'm like, oh, am I doing the right thing for this child? That lack of confidence can feel very isolating. It can feel like you're the only one in the whole world that feels that way. And then you might sit down and you might start Googling and trying to find answers to your questions, and the answers you get only confuse you more. Or even worse, you go into some of these homeschooling high school Facebook groups and you post your questions and you get so many different answers, answers that you never dreamed of before, and these answers are causing more anxiety than what you had to begin with. And that is why I think it's very important to find yourself a small group of trusted mentors to kind of lean into as you work on this high school journey. And this is why we put together a whole team of mentors in our Navigating High School class. So it is myself and 3 other homeschool moms. Between the 4 of us, we have 30 kids, and we've graduated 9 so far. And trust me, we've seen it all. We don't just have super kids who are headed off to Harvard or Yale, but we also have kids who have taken a gap year, who have wondered what in the world they're going to do with their lives, who have gone to trade school, or who have gone right into the workforce. Having a group of mentors, trusted mentors, with that wide variety of experiences is the thing that's going to help make you feel not quite so isolated and build the confidence you need to continue homeschooling high school. Now, the other great thing about the Navigating High School course, and I'll drop a link to that for you down below. It's open all the time. You can get it at any time. We have this huge resource library that we're always adding to. So instead of going to Google and seeking out all of these contrary pieces of advice, we have gathered up all the best advice for you and distilled it down and put it in that resource library for you. So you can get answers to things like, how do I teach a lab science? What do I do if I can't outsource? How do I outsource if I want to and find the best classes for my kids online or in person? We've done all of the legwork for you. How do I build a transcript? What is my role as a parent when I'm homeschooling high school? We've got it all for you right there. Okay, here it is. Tip number 3, and this is the one that is going to make or break your high school journey and definitely determine whether or not you and your child are going to get to the end of the journey, and that is to maintain the relationship. We are not just creating a transcript in high school. These are 4 years of our child's life, and the last 4 years, most likely, where they're going to be living on our roof and having that parent-child relationship with us that we've just treasured for so long and we value. So even as we do focus on academics and the important things that our child needs to launch them successfully into the world, we also need to make sure that that does not come at the expense of the relationship that we have with our child. We want them to see us as a trusted guide, as a mentor, as somebody who's in their corner and on their side. And this is a time of life for them that's very confusing. They're constantly doing that dance of leaning close and pulling away as they learn to find their place in the world. Their days are filled with just raging hormones and all kinds of indecision and lots of stress and lots of pressure. I see it as my job to help mitigate some of that stress, to not add to it, to be there for them and to just enjoy loving, laughing, and learning together as a family. And that is so much more important than the transcript. So as my daughter got closer and closer to graduation, I really worried, was she prepared to meet the thing that was coming next? Was she going to be able to juggle all of her classes? Was she going to be able to keep up with the schedule? Was she going to know the things that she needed to do? And what I have found is anything I didn't teach her, she was able to adapt to. And she has taken ownership of this entire process of her post-high school classes, and she's really leaning into them and becoming so responsible for them. That's one of the things they do when they turn 18, is they lean into that responsibility. And I'm so proud of the adult that she's becoming, but I'm also so happy about the relationship that we have together and the fact that we still enjoy spending time together. We love laughing with each other. We love doing things with each other. And that was never sacrificed at the altar of her making some kind of big break in the world. So there you go, fellow homeschoolers. Remember these 3 tips. Always adapt and personalize. Find your team of trusted mentors and put those relationships first. And if you do that, that looming hill won't seem so daunting, and you can conquer it and create this unique journey for you and your child that you guys will treasure forever. Now, if you want a relationship-centered, mentor-led guide into the waters of high school, we invite you to join us in the Navigating High School course. This course gets you lifetime access to all of the information, including any new information we add later on. We also work through the course live once a year so that you can come to the Q&As, get live help. You can always post in the forum and get help to any questions that you have. The mentors will be there to help guide you through that. And we address those fears that you might have about homeschooling high school and talk about the mindset shifts that you can make to conquer those fears. Like some of the ones we talked about today, we have a whole slew of other ones that we talk about. We also get down into the nitty-gritty practical stuff of how much work is a credit hour? How do I award credit hours? How do I make a transcript? And all of the details that you want to know. So I put the link for you down in the description below so you can find it. And if you're watching this in March of 2024, on April 2nd, we are going to open up the very first edition of Navigating High School. And you can come and join us for the first live run-through. Remember, you have got this. Homeschooling can be a challenge, especially in the day-to-day, but it also brings so much joy, and I know you can do it.